Hey you guys, what's up? And yes, I've been wanting to make a video about this for a while. And so I want to talk about how you will always be the villain whenever you choose yourself first. And it's something that you cannot be afraid of. It's something that you can't let bother you or even get under your skin or get agitated by, because it's not worth it. Whenever you choose yourself in almost any situation, that can be a relationship, that can be friendships, whatever, just like any scenario. I feel like, once again, this topic is not solely internet based. It is just, general, human issues, society based. And I think that a lot of people, when they want to change their lives for the better, or they want to distance themselves from a person or something, I think that a lot of people are afraid to distance themselves, or maybe like when they do distance themselves, like people try to make them feel guilty about it by throwing all kinds of like childish tantrums that you cannot be concerned about, because at the end of the day, like, if those people were meant to be with you on your life journey, they wouldn't give you a reason to want to distance yourself in the first place, right? So as you all know, between living my life on this platform and just everything else, I've, had to choose myself multiple times, but it's something that I've never felt bad about. It's actually something that I am quite boastful about. I don't care if I have to, I guess, rub it in someone's face or whatever, or just really stand clear on the boundary. Like, look, no, I'm moving and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I don't care what you feel, what you say, I'm still gonna do what's best for me. And one thing I have really noticed, especially when it comes to me, is that whenever I do that, people throw like these childish tantrums and they go off for like days and days and days about it. And I feel like it's like a wannabe guilt trip. I've always felt like when I've taken the space from people, or I've just like dropped people or whatever and just like not cared, it's like they want me to feel bad for kicking them out of my life. But see, that's the problem. Like, it's my life. Like, if I felt bad, I would have tried to make things work. And a lot of times what I notice too is that people often don't tell both sides of the story, right? Like, they'll just, Callie's like the worst person ever, Callie, or whatever. I've definitely been called selfish before. That I don't take as an insult, because if I wasn't selfish in certain situations, I would not have made it as far as I have gotten in life now to this day. And it's like, you can't make me feel bad for making decisions to better my own life, with or without you. And so it's like, I don't really care about how people feel or what they say, because at the end of the day, they're not going where I'm going. And when you get people who don't tell both sides of the story, like, oh yeah, did she try to come through? Like, I try to come and talk to them and tell them, hey, you're kind of pushing it, or hey, you're rubbing me the wrong way, or hey, I don't agree with this path that you're on. Then a lot of people will be quiet about that part. And I think that's just like their own shame, their own embarrassment, their own whatever. And it's like, at the end of the day, when I cut ties, I do so. And I think another part of the reason why people have often thrown a lot of tantrums when I've cut ties is because I have displayed a pattern of cutting ties and being done, and never circling back, and never wanting to spin the block, and always moving on to the next, and not caring about that. And what I find interesting now, what I will say is, what I find interesting online is, I feel like people online throw higher tantrums. And in my experience, especially over the years, I feel like they try to be louder about their, I guess, disappointment or their hurt or something. And they want to get my attention. They want me to react and respond. And for sure, I have totally gone the wrong way before in the past and have responded to people when I probably shouldn't have. And I wasted a lot of time and energy and effort doing that. And I will always admit that. Life is about learning, and none of us get it right, 100% of the time. But the thing is, when you learn things and you actually do make those steps and changes for the better, and you want to keep pursuing better, you can't, fault yourself for that at all, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all going to live and learn the way we are supposed to, right? But I do feel like people online, they do these loud tantrums more for the back and forth, more for like the acknowledgement and the attention of whatever fallout is happening. And it's not necessarily based on the relationship or, the community or the friendship or whatever it is. It's more like, let's try to blow this up as big as possible and try to have a fight about it so we can drag this out longer. And some people will do the absolute most for your attention, and that's where the self-control and the self-emotional regulation comes in, to where if you can see that for what that is and ignore that and dead that and don't let it penetrate and don't let it affect you, then all of that energy will bounce off of you and go, back to the original source. Now, in real life, I know my ladies probably have experienced this, but in my real life, when I have separated from relationships, oh girl, that's when the private numbers getting to call you, girl, and your phone blowing up, and you get random voicemails from said private numbers, and you get maybe family members trying to reach out to you, or friends, or whatever, or mutual friends that maybe y'all had or whatever. And it's like this whole thing. I feel like girls can really relate to this, because it's like something that I feel like all girls have experienced, especially like, from high school on. It's kind of weird how some of those kind of habits don't like die or stop depending on, who you're dealing with or whatever. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's a trait that guys have, that they're kind of like all the same in that aspect, which I find really entertaining. But it makes me so grateful to not have to, deal with that anymore, and just like to be settled. Cause like it is crazy out here, girl. You gotta be careful. But like, that's a tantrum in itself, like hitting you up from private numbers or, different whatever, trying to get your attention, trying to get a reaction, trying to pull you back in. They want that engagement. People don't like it when you choose yourself and you cut them off and you like whatever. And it's like you become the villain in their eyes if you don't give them what they want. And a thing about me that I always kind of find entertaining now, of course, I don't want to say it's been the same in every scenario, but I often find that when I have severed ties with people, they tend to talk out of both sides of their mouth about me. It's like I'm either the worst person ever, I am, crazy, I'm insane, I'm, selfish, I'm self-centered, I only care about myself. What else is it? Mainly like the crazy, like whatever is very prevalent. All of these things, right? But then it's like, the same people, like literally will say, oh, well, I don't believe she's all that bad. I actually kind of like her. It's like, it's okay to just verbally say that you miss a person and that you don't agree with whatever. It's like, that's why I think reacting to whatever negativity people spew at you is so not worth it, because what you'll find is when they're doing that, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They can't even make up their own minds. They're just hurt. They don't know how to place it. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to regulate themselves emotionally, and just like, as modern day adults. And so it's like that energy is like spiraling just like how they are. And it's not worth it, and it's like, I would much rather be the villain for choosing myself in all instances, because if it's one thing that's going to happen, my life is going to progress and my life is going to get better. There has never been a situation, a community, a person, anything that I have separated from where I stood on that, Now, there are are there a few friendships, or are there just maybe one or two? There's like a couple people in my real life, friend-wise, and these are people who I grew up with since we were kids. So of course we've had our disagreements or whatever, but we've always come back around. Friendships, I am more forgiving. Relationships, it's like once I kind of hit a peak in relationships, I kind of stand on business. But then again, I do have a couple of people who, even though we don't talk or whatever, like we keep it cordial, keep it respectful, because at the end of the day, it's like even though the relationship failed, there's always going to be that mutual respect there, because there's really no beef. So there's really no need to like keep them at a distance when they already keep the respectful distance, you know. But like online, I've always just like, I don't care who it is, child. I really don't care who it is. I don't care, you know, and I've never cared about that. What I find interesting is how when I'm deemed as the villain and when I've moved forward, a lot of instances, like in people in situations, they say stagnant. And it's because of that stagnant energy that like made me want to separate myself from, you know, the beginning, like the get-go. And it's also just like, you got to realize when certain people, places, things don't fit anymore, like literally don't fit the pieces to the puzzle of your whole life, because you cannot risk, and especially the older we get and the further we move in life, you can't risk even the slightest chance of being dragged down by a particular person, situation, God forbid it's a whole community of folks or whatever it is. You cannot risk that chance of being dragged down by people at all if you give a damn about really achieving success and stability and peace and harmony in your life. If you really give a strong damn about that, you will not even allow the slightest bit of chaos, BS, mess, drama, whatever it is, to infiltrate, because you're prioritizing your greater good. And your greater good should always come before everything else. It should. Now, it's one thing, obviously, if you have loved ones or if you're, you know, starting a family, then you and your family, right? You and your family's greater good comes before everything else. And everything is about you and your family, and you don't give a damn, right? You do not care. You have to stand on that. And that is when you cannot care what other people say, think, feel, whatever. You have to truly distance yourself from it and trust within yourself that you're doing the right thing. That's what I found with myself. And I know that online, when I was like naming off all the names I've been called online and stuff, it's cold. I don't care about that either, especially like when it comes to people who have never met me in real life, who've never really interacted with me face to face in real life, or people who've even known me before I even started these online platforms. I've always valued people in my real life more so than people online. I did make the mistake of being too open, too parasocial, and oversharing and just like all that mess. And I've learned from it. I've seen the dark, ugly side of that. And I have no interest in ever going back to that part, because now that I'm, you know, where I have been wanting to be in life for a very long time, this has been years in the making, in all honesty. There's like, you literally couldn't pay me enough. You couldn't offer me enough. And there's nothing I deem worthy enough of me retracting and going back and picking up those pieces from the past. If anything, it's just kind of entertaining how there has been so much focus on me for so like literally like years. And it's like, to really overcome that level of negativity, that level of mess thrown at you, and all these different opinions, to really overcome all of that, you have to be ruthless and not giving a damn about who has access to you and who doesn't. And the sooner you unapologetically prioritize yourself, whether you're the villain or not, the sooner you will see the results and how that was the right move for you to do so. And that's what's happened for me. My life has only gotten better over the last couple years. I actually have gotten to a point to where I don't have any complaints. And I am probably the most private that I have ever been online, especially as a person who still posts. I know I'm not, as consistent or whatever as I used to be. I'm just like more casual with it now, but I am the most private I've ever been because I've reached a point in my life to where I feel like if people truly knew just how well things really were going for me and how well things have been for well over a year now, especially ever since I moved back like last year, and so many things that have improved, gotten better, whatever, the jealousy, the hate, the bitterness, the all of that would spiral up, and I will block it out. And I will also protect my loved ones and, of course, my future family moving forward. I cannot care about engaging like how I used to, so you're never gonna catch me arguing or whatever again, because like you're not gonna see me, age myself prematurely and catch wrinkles and all these stress conditions for nobody. But it's just like I have been the most comfortable I've ever been now, especially on my platform, than I have been in a while. Like now this just feels right. So it's like I don't care if I'm the villain in someone's eyes, especially just chilling, living my life, dropping my little blurb videos, talking about my pregnancy or whatever, or the fibroids, whatever the tea is, I can't care about all of that because there's so much more that has worked out for the greater good. And it's because of a lot of the decisions that I've made. And I know that. It's because of the decision making. It's because of the determination and the will to want to constantly progress and do better and to just be relentless in wanting to achieve that goal, right? And then of course, you guys know that I'm into like the whole manifestation thing, but like when you're manifesting, you also like your actions and your mindset have to align with that as well. And you cannot let any noise or hindrances in. So I made this video because I feel like this kind of partners with, what was that video I made? Like moving forward, the importance of letting go and moving on. Yeah, I think that this video, I'm gonna like link that video with this one, and these two coincide because it's like this is the other side of that decision making, right? Because I know in that previous video I talked about how you could be at a job or at school and you're putting off going to the next level or applying to a better paying job or a higher level career or getting that scholarship that you've always wanted. And it's like when some of those opportunities present themselves, like you feel stuck or you deny the opportunity and you just walk away from it because you're afraid. This video is more about the other side of that fear, but just realize if, people and, communities or those old jobs and old coworkers, girl, they hate you, for moving on, don't be bothered by that. And so this is like the other side of that. So these two coincide. So I'm going to like link that one. Other than that, like I've been doing great, like, pregnancy still going well. And everything. My natural hair and nails have grown so much and I've just been really enjoying that. I know that I have on a wig in today's video, but like I literally don't have on any makeup. I literally just have on lashes and lip gloss. This is my skin. And I do very light skincare routine, which that will be coming to my members of my Patreon soon. And yeah, I'm just like working on you guys' content finally. In the midst of just really just enjoying my time. Me and all of my loved ones are so excited, and just like with everything that I'm planning, I've been like super busy too. And I've also been like exhausted. So I just like take every day, you know, in stride. I don't rush myself. I don't stress myself for nothing or nobody because I won't. But I've really been enjoying like my time. So I wish you guys the best. I'm gonna be trying to pre-record some more for you. So yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.